following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Hallmark of Greatness Last Orders, the podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favourite actors and directors would rather forget they were ever involved with. I'm Joe, and with me as always, he lives in a house, a very big house, made of wigs. It's James.
House of Wigs, what was this?
Yeah, well, you'll find out in a minute. And with him, the co-author of the Jeff Capes biography, Look at Me Eat a Pot Noodle and Then Carry All These Bricks About, it's Mark.
I've got all the yellow pages and phone books that I could find. You can tear through them dead easy now, though, because they're tiny. There's nothing out in them.
Do you remember what the last film was now?
No idea. House of Wigs.
I've just looked it up, though.
The Slayer Man.
Deathstalker. Jim Deathstalker.
Jim Deathstalker.
Sexy Jim Deathstalker. Yes. It's been a while. Our apologies for that, but people have been moving houses. I've had stuff on. Everyone's been busy. It's no fault of your own. But
you're the listeners. You said it's no fault of the listeners.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Listeners.
Yeah. But if you want to keep up to date with upcoming film choices and that, you can follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great, all one word, or you can find us on Instagram and Facebook and Threads at Hallmark of Greatness. Or if you are called Malcolm and want to recommend a film to us, you can email us at hallmarkofgreatness@gmail.com. Yeah, a bit of housekeeping. This is probably not going to be weekly from now on. It's probably going to go down to once a fortnight just because nobody has the time. The real world is back in full effect now. And
it's what all the cool podcasts are doing, though, Joe.
Is it?
Yeah, going fortnightly. Yeah.
Well, I could do, but I could keep doing it once a week, but it's killing me. It's killed me for the past 4 years. Like...
Who could watch this every single week?
Yes. You get a week off in between. I don't. I've got to do. Yeah. So yeah, just there might be bonus ones and stuff here and there, but it's probably going to be that going forward. You're not paying for it anyway, so stop whinging. That's what I say.
Fair.
How are we all anyway? I know, Mark, you've moved.
I have. It's good. It's fantastic. The house is. I finally got a room that I can record in. Last time I recorded my podcast, it was at the dining room table. I felt like I was doing my own work.
Are you going to put all foam on there and an on-air sign outside?
I may or may not have been bought an on-air sign.
You fucking... I was joking.
Rachel bought it me as a gift. Don't take the piss. Listeners, I've just held up an on-air box sign. I've never used it, and I probably won't use it, but it's cute. Are
you going to get your name in neon on the background? And
no, I'm going to get
nonsense.
live, laugh, jizz or something like that.
Isn't that the next film?
That's when we do the...
Starring Alice Cooper.
Oh, no.
Oh, I've heard too much about Alice Cooper recently. James?
Oh, no, don't ruin Alice Cooper for us.
Oh, he's been cancelled already.
Yes.
You all right? What have you been up to in the month or so since we've last done this?
I thought that was a prompt for something. I've been busy failing my driving test again.
Oh, no!
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, it's all right. It keeps me occupied. It drains all my money.
About sports with him and squeezed his leg. They love that.
I imagine. The worry is it'll probably work as well.
So you're relegated to going down hills in a bathtub on wheels still? Right, okay.
I'm just accompanied at all times. That's me, yeah.
I mean, so am I.
Which, to be fair, at this point, is a good idea.
That's all of us, isn't it? We're not allowed out on our own. I mean, we're here. I may as well get into it.
We're queer. We don't want any more bears. Yeah.
I've got this rock to sell you. This week's film. (2009's) Robin Hood Beyond Sherwood Forest, in honour of Mark's Nottingham heritage.
I don't like to bang on about it, mate.
No.
James, I wouldn't after this.
I mean, what is Beyond Sherwood Forest?
Centre Parks.
Yes. Should we fire it?
It's been a
while, isn't it?
I was going to say, I've got to plug it in. It's not. I have to put. There we go.
What fucking cobwebs everywhere after that. It's been on the shelf for some time.
Oh, it's like when you put the radiators on after summer and everything smells burnt hair for a while. Yeah.
That is the Durling plot device of time. I think that's because we put whirling in there.
Possibly.
I don't think
Durling.
And it said Robin Hood, Beyond Sherwood Forest, is a film about... So in Sherwood Forest, the legendary outlaw Robin Hood, played by an unexpectedly charming and eccentric Danny DeVito,
Yes.
automatically, yes. Finds himself in a parallel universe after being hit by a magical arrow. In this quirky dimension, Sherwood Forest is a surreal amalgamation of a shopping mall and a tropical beach. Robin, now accompanied by his trusty sidekick, a talking rubber chicken voiced by Christopher Walken. Yeah, that was in there. It's just in the middle.
Arrow in my ass.
Must navigate this bizarre realm and outwit the flamboyant sheriff of Nottingham, who has a pawn shop for collecting rare garden gnomes. That's it. I think it's got a bit weird.
It's
Better
gone.
film.
I just kind of want to see Danny DeVito, and then I took out my bows and I started twanging. The actual synopsis: Robin Hood, Beyond Sherwood Forest. England, 1174. King Richard is away fighting the Crusade. His brother Prince John has been left in charge. In order to further international diplomatic relations with Austria, the beautiful young Maid Marian is to be married off to a prince. A cursed girl who can change into a ferocious dragon is used to find and pacify Robin Hood. That's what it says.
Okay.
Both of those things are kind of B plots to...
Yeah.
I think most of it is B plot because there's like shit that goes on in this that I don't even understand. Like, I didn't know that people had died at the end. I knew the monk guy died. Fire talk.
Oh yeah, boy does he die.
They all die in the same way. 3 scratches. But yeah, I like they've missed out the whole portal.
Well, it doesn't. It plays a very peculiar role in all of this, in that it introduces the portal and then ignores the portal for a good 3/5 of the film,
and then adds it back in for no purpose.
No.
Oh, that's where the precipice is. Yeah.
But why did they go into the... I don't understand why they went back. Why do them dogs explode? Like, there's so much wrong with this.
Well, yeah, the dog's out of Resident Evil 2, yeah.
I wouldn't even give them that graphic processing power, to be honest. I mean, sorry, I'm drinking my hot chocolate. Let's get into this.
England 1174.
Yep. Do you want to point out some of the historical inaccuracies in this so far?
I think somebody's pointed out on IMDb that it's a coniferous forest or something like that. And
I was going to say, I don't think King
Richard
Richard went on the Crusades until much later and wasn't even coronated at this time, but whatever.
Yeah. So there is a thing about... Because I was trying to remember this. I didn't look it up, but I think he got married in Cyprus or something. And they still... The wine that they served at the wedding, they still sell. I think it's called Commanderia or something like that.
Did you buy loads of it, or is it like different?
It's like a fortified wine. That guy was tanks at all times.
Man, that's good.
Nice.
King William I was on the crown in 1174 because he fought the Battle of Alnwick.
Wait, hang on.
Captured the castle.
William the First.
William the
First. Conqueror.
William the Conqueror.
King William.
But that'd be like a century before that, 1066.
No, 1165. William the Lion, sometimes known as William the First.
I don't know. I mean, this isn't the chase.
To hold the office.
I'm not gonna. It is also 2 years after crop rotation was introduced.
Oh, is it really? Oh, wow!
Crop rotation after 1172. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to research it on Age of Empires. You wouldn't have got to that point
after John Lloyd invented the patent crop rotation. Yeah. And we get, as we always do in these things, shots of a forest and that kind of music. Not the first popping of a horn that will draw ire from the crowd.
It's just reminded me of that Philomena Kunk thing about all medieval music. That's not our joke, so we shouldn't do it. But it's weird, though, this opening scene, because there's 3 horsemen. Now, I don't know if it was just the formatting of what I was watching this over YouTube, but it was not a good connection. And there was just like period bouts of like fatigue as it just blacked out. And I don't know if that happened to anybody else, but it made for a really surreal opening.
I think I was the one doing the blacking out, to be honest.
I rewatched it today, and my copy of it was, I wouldn't say it was 1080, but it was watchable, and I don't remember blinking heavily throughout it.
Stock footage of men on horses start.
Yeah.
And then we see them off horses.
Bizarrely, yeah, they're not the same people on the horses. And they're chasing, they're not on heroin, but they are chasing a dragon.
Maybe take a pop at it. It's taken something like the king's dog or something. I didn't really catch what it.
I think it was just eating stuff in the king's forest, and the king is very particular about people doing stuff in his forest, as other Robin Hood films would have me believe at the time. I believe that poaching in the king's forest was punishable by like summary execution.
Yes. That's there was plenty of. This is another thing I know is that the surname Woodward is originally Warden of the Wood, Woodward. So that would be somebody's job is to
like the guy in the portal later on.
Well,
yeah,
the
fucking
keeper
Commander
of the
Zavala
forest.
in there, yeah.
If you've got the surname Forest Keeper, that's where it comes from.
That's a well better name, Jim Forest Keeper. You're either going to be a game warden or a goalie for Nottingham Forest.
So they're chasing this dragon and they slash up at it out. It's conveniently out of shot. And
it's
they're just
really like this makes me miss Ray Harryhausen style fucking like Clash of the Titans style, because that looked better than this. Yeah. So much of this is bad blue green screen stuff. Yeah, because everyone's got that really weird glow about them.
Malcolm, behind you, a cartoon.
Yeah, the dragon looks all right. I'd say it looks about the same as the one from the Jeremy Irons Dungeons and Dragons film
just about.
Yeah. It is a sci-fi film, so like the budget is, shall we say, small.
That was all right, because as I say, I was watching this on about 240, and the haze just looks generally fine.
Like it's come through
I felt
time.
Like somebody had lost the glasses or something. It was all right to me. They want to not let it escape, despite the fact it's just flying. It could just fly away.
It could literally fly upwards and they'd be knackered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why they're chasing it?
Meanwhile, there's a kid. Oh, go on.
If a wolf eats a rabbit in the King's Forest, do we prosecute the wolf? Where does it end?
Probably. I mean, there shouldn't be wolves in the King's Forest anyway. They would probably like hunt them down, wouldn't they?
I don't know. What do they get up to? My knowledge of it is based literally on other Robin Hood films and that Danny Dyer, Who Do You Think You Are episode where he goes twatting about in the woods.
Well, they'd be keeping like deer and stuff, wouldn't they, in the woods? So they wouldn't want stuff to get into the woods and fuck them up. So they'd be actively like hunting. That's where you get like fox hunting nonsense stuff.
Anyway, focus. I just wanted to know what the rules
I know,
were.
It's not 100 things we learn from film. So
100 things we learned from King's Forest.
Yeah. So there's a kid called
There's a portal.
Robert firing arrows in front of Maid Marian. Who's not introduced as Marian, I don't think, at this point.
None of them are. He's called Robert for one.
He's called Robert.
Yeah.
And he remains Robert all the way through to her. She keeps calling him Robert. It's like, I'm really confused here. What film is this?
Robert Hood.
Robert Hood and Malcolm the Sheriff.
Robert Hood, I think, is the bad guy out of Thunderbirds, isn't he?
Yes,
Like by Ben Kingsley.
Godspeed, my great archer, she says to him. He doesn't want to marry her, which I thought was a bit harsh.
I think he's punching well above his weight if she's into him,
so
he's
far above it.
ugly. He's got a face like someone's used it. Also, right, the first of many, many bad archery practices in this film. No, I'm not going to go on about it, but like he's shooting from like his chest, so his accuracy is going to be knackered, and it's not going to have the full amount of draw power in that bow. It just annoyed me. It's like later on when he fires, when you watch,
he's a kid,
later on, I know he's a kid, but he's supposed to be the best archer, the golden shot. Mr. and Mrs. Other TV shows that don't exist
Dusty
anymore.
Bin.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. God, I bet he's good in bed. It's like later on when he fires that flaming arrow and you see it drop as he fires it.
Yeah.
Because he's fired it at such a shit way. Anyway, that's the last of it. I'm just saying, if you're going to have bows and arrows in films, do some practice.
Who invited Katniss Everdeen on this? Jesus, give it a rest.
I'd say Legless more than...
Oh, very good. He does actually say, he says, I'm the greatest archer in all of Nottingham.
Nottingham. Come, Maid Marian. Let us kiss with tongues.
With tongues.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nottingham, New Hampshire, by the way. Real town. There you go.
Really?
Yeah.
I imagine there's probably a few, because most American places have got like just British...
To be honest, I just Googled Nottingham, USA, and the first one that came up was New Hampshire, and I thought I'll take that one.
Only one there's not is Leeds. There isn't a Leeds. There's only one Leeds in the world.
Let's found this town, New Leeds. Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue, does it? It's
We're gonna call it gold plate.
Better leave that in the old world, innit? You know.
But one of the people chasing this dragon gets mauled by 3 cuts of the dragon and dies, and they go, "Oh well, Jeff's dead. I'm the new sheriff now.
Yeah,
And I'm like, it's not like the Pope. It's not hereditary.
but white smoke comes out the dragon's nostrils, and he becomes the new
Smaug
sheriff.
is pleased. Yeah, so as it turns out, this is Robert's dad, who is the new sheriff, and also Malcolm, who is his pal.
Yeah.
They go into the forest, and the maid Marion and Robert hide. Or she fucks off. I can't remember.
Trying to play in.
They hide behind a tree to watch it sort of unfold. Malcolm, I should point out, is played by Julian Sands. Yeah, they sort of stumble into this forest and find...
Julian Sands is quite a good actor, apart from in this film, where he isn't.
Julian Sands, of course, we know, died earlier this year.
Yes.
Probably of shame from being in this film, I assume.
I think it was smoke inhalation, wasn't it? Mauled by flaming wolves.
Mauled by people on the king's land.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Right, and then they come across this woman next to a tree, right? And the first thing he thinks to do is, well, best stab her.
She's going, ha, 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 ha. And I'm going, Daisy, I could hear sex noises.
I know you would. Staying alive. Staying alive.
You would just assume it was a popular dog in Spot, wouldn't you? Really, but they just stab away at her abdomen. His mate says no, but her wounds sort of heal
in
ways
that make
style.
The holes in the hand from the crow look good.
Yeah, absolutely. She is. She's basically Ginger Snaps. Isn't she?
Yes.
She's the girl from Ginger Snaps. So obviously she's a werewolf, I'm thinking at this point. Oh, how wrong I kind of was.
You're half wrong.
Oh.
And so, they stab her up loads, and she's like, no, right. And then, Malcolm, he's like, we have to, no, sorry, Robert's dad, he's like, we have to help her. And Malcolm goes, nah, fuck that. And then, stabs him. Stabs Robert's dad.
Doesn't just stab him, but stabs him through the head, pierces him through the head like he's piercing the film on a microwave meal with a knife.
Well, they have a bit of a fight first, but it's very low energy.
Yeah. He says something about the blood on his sword having endless power because she's healed herself so quickly. And I was like, this escalated quickly because he's just
that makes sense at the end. I couldn't quite figure it out at the end. Yeah.
I still don't understand what happened at the end.
Well,
because there's something that happens later on, and then I'm like, but she can't die.
Well, Robert sees all of this at the crucial moment where he's getting executed.
When he's going in the microwave on high power for 3.5 minutes.
And a lot of run,
hot Robert
son.
Dad. And, run, Robert, run.
I've also written down a bit of dialogue. King Richard is a bloody fool.
Yeah.
Thought that was a bit unnecessary. Yeah. He's not even there.
Treason.
He gets fully stabbed up the arse at one point as well. And then
I must have missed that.
Malcolm starts chasing into a forest where there's a blue portal.
He chases Robert for a bit, and then he just goes, fuck it, it'll be right. And then Robert comes across this, I'm going to say it, primeval level, portal, blue glowing portal with a dark forest gatto beyond it. Right? And then it just goes 20 years later. What the fuck was the portal?
Has that remained open, or did someone find the gun and shoot the orange
one and just doing loops?
Yeah.
You got the cake. The cake is alive.
It is. Malcolm, by the way, it's a great name for a baddie. This bloke, Malcolm McLaren, and my Uncle Malcolm, all bastards.
That's two bastards. Yeah, I don't know your bloke. Uncle Malcolm.
Oh, he's a bad one. He's a bad one.
Yeah. And then we just cut forward in time. And we get sexy Robin Hood. Well, I say sexy Robin Hood.
I've put is grown-up Robin out of Westlife. And how is he kind of almost English now?
He doesn't look like somebody who's been kipping in a forest for 20 years, does he?
No, he's got frosted tips. He's also got the actor is called Robin as well, which is good.
Yes,
but is he called Robert? I can't figure it out.
The guy who played young Robin was called Rowan. So they didn't go far away from the RO starting name.
I can see what the hiring process was for this stuff.
It's like 70s sitcoms where they just gave them the name of the actor. Like in
Terry and June.
Well, like in Sykes. Eric Sykes was called Eric and Hattie Jakes was called
Hattie. Yeah.
What a bitch.
Yeah. And he's hanging out with right, question. Little John, was his voice like mechanically lowered?
I am certain of it because he spends all his time wandering around sounding like Fezzik out of The Princess Bride, Android the Giant.
But it sounds like when we get like punks, like drunk punks, sort of when it's been down tuned. I don't know why they did. Because you don't just like, why has Little John got to have a ho ho ho?
Oh, you Sherwood bastards!
Yeah, didn't understand why. But
he also walks around with a didgeridoo.
That's his hitting stick that he uses for half the film, and then he switches to a battle axe.
He does, yeah.
No reason.
Because they've gone into battle, Joe. Battle.
Oh, I don't understand.
The clue's in the name.
They're waiting for King Richard to come back from the Crusades, is the point of that scene.
He just says, Richard is off fighting in the Crusades. Richard who? Iowadi, Richard King.
Richard O'Brien. Can't find Mumsy in the fuck it.
We get mad
the medieval zone, the Robin Hood medieval zone. Yeah, cool.
Yes, yeah, that
all links.
Marion is chatting to her dad in the castle, and she's supposed to be wed to Duke Leopold of Austria.
Yeah, but she's doing fighting. She's punching that dummy. With that stick.
Which she pointedly just whacks in the nuts. Which
jokes on her. That dummy doesn't have any nuts. Yeah, she's supposed to. Right, this was another thing. Like, if she is of noble stock, then at this point in time, women didn't marry for love. You were a bargaining chip in everything. I've played enough of was it Kings and the really boring Crusader Kings 3 to know that if you're born a girl, you're knackered, mate. You're getting married off and probably eaten. If the way I play it.
It's all about primogeniture law, isn't it? Anyway, agnatic.
Did you say Madonna's genitals?
Agnatic, cognatic affects the.
Oh, he's gone all Welsh again.
Yeah.
Have you got any more exploding carrots?
So I think her dad is the cousin or brother of the king.
He's a distant relation of the king. He says. I think he says we are tenuously related to Richard, and I was like, "Is that what it says in the script?" It's like, fuck it, we can't be bothered doing like the legwork on this. So she's supposed to marry him. She's not happy about it.
Her mum's dead. This is all like a cascade of information at this point. She's going to be presented to King John, as in what? Like, look at this woman.
Parade, isn't it?
I thought there was going to be weird debauched sex or something at that point, but that's
because she kind of
goes that we tend to watch these days.
She kind of looks a bit sad about it, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No,
you're just going to go to court, He
says, "Look, this is the least you could do. You murdered your mother."
Yeah. He doesn't say it like that. He's like, her greatest gift was her dying so you could live, and I was like, it's not the best gift, is it? Big jar of Bovril. That's a good gift.
That's a bit of a downer, but you know what will make everything better? That nice supper of roast spoon over there. It's like a big pot with a wooden spoon. Nothing else.
Nothing in it. I noticed the set dressing in this is, some would say minimal, some would say non-existent. Even in Nightmare, they had some fucking sawdust on the floor, like.
Yeah, because that's the only bit that the kid could see.
No, I mean, like, around Traegar and Pickle. And that sexy genie lady as well that they had later on. Anyway, we cut back to Robin and John Little John, and they're like, hark, I hear a convoy approacheth. Let us rob it. Also, here's a child that's with us now that can't speak, but is forever licking its fucking lips.
Because it couldn't do the accent.
Nobody can do the accent.
Lines out.
Literally, at the end of this, they go full American at the end of this film. They did pretty well. It's not as bad as like the Guy Ritchie one.
I want to break something to you at this point. That kid, I think his name's Gavin or something like that. They've not even tried with it. Maybe his name is Gavin. He is listed on IMDb as winning an award for this film.
What for? Best mute in a Robin Hood film.
Best dialogue or something. I don't know. He's lost his tongue or something like that.
Yeah, but then you see him later on going,
nothing.
Like he's grown back like a lizard. I hate it.
I don't
also,
know.
like, this is the weakest band of merry men. It's just trio of twats.
They stick up a tax man and say, you look a bit taxed, gentlemen. Mind if we lighten your load?
Tax man.
There's this brilliant bit where they're like, come on, get away from them. And they go at it as fast as they can on the horse, which is really slow so they don't hurt the horse. But they put a rope up and they pull the rope tight so the guy hits the rope, falls off his horse. And I just pictured, I told that guy I wanted my sandwich sliced.
He's a black leg miner. It's like, and then like the tax guy though is like, oh, there was hundreds of them. I was like, there's 3 of them. It's not like Robin Hood Prince of Thieves where they like
so that's-
run and hide in. They do use like the flappy floor trap that they use in Robin Hood Prince of Thieves later on. There's 3 of them, and you're like,
That's slightly later, isn't it? When he was trying to justify himself to the prince.
don't know.
But
yeah,
it
they
makes
rob him.
sense that he's like, oh, there was hundreds of them when in fact there was just 3 because that's a bit embarrassing.
Oh, is
And
that what it
also,
was? I missed that bit.
They
They tie him up. They steal the
knife
chest.
him in the arse as well.
And then, like, Gareth, or Gavin, or whatever he's called, Gavbot, fucking, stabs this dude up, and they all laugh. It's like, great assault.
Yeah, it's like cruel and unusual, isn't it?
In olden days like that'd go septic, and you'd die of arse septicemia.
Arsetemia, yeah.
To see your arse.
Prince John is told about this by them later on. His retaliation is to scour the woods some more and increase taxes.
Why has Prince John got leprosy? Or like acne?
Yeah, that's the question,
something?
isn't it?
Well,
Where
is
is
no
Sahis?
Oxy-10 back then?
Where is Sahis?
He's got
right?
face arsetemia.
I just, apparently that chest had been in his family for generations. And I'm like, why did you entrust these idiots with it then?
He's like, also, where's Marion? She's fucked off. I want her and the chest returned to me and her chest. And they've got 1 week to do it for some arbitrary reason. So she's donned a cloak, which is all the disguise you need. And
She's dressed like she's in Gryffindor.
Yes. that joke.
Sorry, that's just tickled me.
It's far from the best thing I've written, but maybe not.
No, I just wasn't expecting it. And she's walking through the forest, and like Robin Hood, the menace of the forest, just pops out, and he's like, "Hello, clearly a woman. I mean, man. What are you doing?" And she goes, "All right, my name's Bernard." Like,
I'm just drinking from the stagnant forest pool.
I mean, is there a hut of wigs nearby, madam?
They have what I've referred to as a stave off at this point.
Yeah, right, again. If someone's hitting you with a quarterstaff and you've got what is supposed to be like a U-bow, it would just shatter to fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
He also
You got
walked
what,
around
a U-bow.
A U-boat.
U-boat.
Achtung!
Schnell!
I was watching Phoenix Nights
Big
today
bush you were.
with the Das Boot.
Yeah.
I got a Nazi bandit that pays out in Deutschmarks. And also he walks around with his bow strung all the time, which would just knacker it. Only string it when you're firing it.
This was the first bit that I noticed was quite blatantly lifted from Prince of Thieves. A fight on a bridge with someone getting knocked in the water.
Yes.
Yeah,
but,
and it's not the last.
But not as epic as the one in Prince of Thieves, because that's quite a pretty vista.
Oh,
they're fighting
yeah.
on.
Yeah. It's
This
just around
looks
the
like
corner
that
from
bit.
me, that.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, it's in Northumberland, just across the border.
Really? I always thought it was in America somewhere.
No.
But yeah, there's it's on that log bit where they do that bit in Dirty Dancing. Like,
is that not part
Let's
of
hear it
like...
for the boy. Oh no, that's Footloose. Yeah.
It must be part of like lore, because I'm sure if you go to the actual Sherwood Forest, there's like Robin Hood and Little John fighting quarterstaffs on a log or something. It might be gone now.
Yeah, all the stuff in Prince of Thieves, none of it was filmed in Nottingham. You can go to Sherwood Forest. It's about 3 miles by it's like a mile by a mile. It's barely anything. But you have got the original oak, which is a really old oak tree that they've got propped up with some sticks, with some planks of 2x4.
You're not
Actual
selling
Jim
this.
Duggan's gutted.
You know, he's dead. You're not selling this to me though, are you? But yeah, I assume that these things are like from Robin Hood history or whatever. Not history because it's not real, but you know what I mean.
How dare you take that back, sir? It's a slander upon my for anything I've ever believed. Next time you're going to tell me Brian Clough's not real.
Oh, he is. He doesn't like it.
There's something about the Austrians capturing King Richard as he comes back from the Crusades or something.
I think that's a bit later on. That's when like they capture kill all the people. He
I'm
knocks
saying
her
they've
into
lifted other stuff.
He knocks her into the water, and then she like knocks him into the water, and then Little John and fucking Gremlin appear, and he's like, "Having trouble, Robin?" And he goes, "Oh, it's a bird. All right." And then
he says,
she goes, "My name's
you're
Lily."
one of the best opponents, if not one of the loveliest.
I'm going to use that down the judo club.
I know, right? Because she attacks him again and then just fucking dunks him.
Yeah, should have just drowned him. Film over.
She recognizes him as Robert and goes, "Oh, it's you," sort of thing.
Robert.
He's oblivious to all of this. He doesn't remember her at all. She says that her name is Lily, probably because there's a pond there. I don't know.
It was her mum's name. Because he said when he finds out later, he goes, "You used your dead mother's name," and I'd be like,
a good name.
"Fuck you! What does it matter? What do you rather I was called Stalin?"
He decides to escort her, very chivalric. And then we get a scene at a torture chamber at Nottingham Castle.
Right, but again, just barren sets. There's nothing there. There's like when we saw King John, there was just a throne and nothing else. There was like two dudes stood there with tinfoil strapped to them. Like it's just, I get it's free to shoot in a forest, but come on, put something in. Like,
yeah, the sheriff goes to see a prisoner who's just called Alina, and
she's very tired all the time.
She's a bit sad. He has a proposition. And then nearly burns his own eyebrows off with his own torch, is what I've written.
Yeah. It's the dangerous.
I don't know what his
things.
proposition was, but yeah.
Seeing Alina, I think she's called Catherine Isabel, two first names, wanker, and it made me want to watch much better films that she's in, like American Mary, which fantastically gory, but a great film. Couldn't recommend it enough.
So he's been keeping her down there for ages.
She is the nude stabbing woman from before.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So he's kept her here all these years, and he's like, I have a proposition for you. And she's like, I'm not going to do it. She's well, I have something that will make you do it. And then, like, they open some doors, sunlight hits her, and bum, 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 bum. She's a weird dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. She turns poorly into a dragon and flaps off. And I was like, okay, is that a thing? Weird dragons? I've never.
Definitely not in the
I have got in my notes. This reads like the first time someone's DM'd a game of D&D. There's a lot of just heavy plot exposition, and then go and do this, and then a load more exposition, and then go and do this.
Behold, he hath come. There's a lot of that.
Fetch quests.
Yes.
Swarm of bats. Quick, sound the bat displacement horn we got 2 encounters ago. It's it feels very much like that. She flaps off as a dragon, and he's like, "Well done, me," because he sent her out to go and find Robin Hood and the Maid Marian.
He says, "Search for Robin Hood. Check out every home and shop in Nottingham.
Every outhouse, doghouse."
Well, try Paul Smith first. It's easily the best shop in Nottingham, certainly since Selector Disc shut. And this is very niche Nottingham references for nobody. But what I don't get is this line, because Robin Hood's not known for going on spending sprees, is he? Quite the opposite.
No, he's always down the casino,
Get him now, because he's with his child soldier army in the forest, just handing out great wads of cash.
His child soldier army? Is it Kone 2012? Remember that?
May as well.
Yeah, then you got to go and have a wank in the street, haven't you? I think that's what happened with that in the end.
I think so, yeah.
He goes and hands all this money out to like muddy people in a forest, because that means they're peasants. And then there's one kid that's like, I've got no money, and then he's got a load of it in his pocket. And I was like, is he a wizard? I don't know what happens. Oh, and then Will Scarlet appears.
Yeah.
And he's like, angry. We were like brothers, but he hates me now. And then a dragon appears, and he's like, we're best mates now. I was like, what?
Yeah. They've got a wanted poster, and it's got this drawing of Robin Hood on. It looks like Dominic Moynihan from Lord of the Rings. Not anything like him. So where have you got that picture from?
One of those like photo booths at the seaside where it'll do it in like a Picasso style. Or
yeah,
they
got a picture of Dominic Moynihan pulled up to the camera.
Get in there, Robin Dunn. We've got £2 in there. No funny faces.
500 gold pieces they want for him.
And then they go and see Friar Tuck first, don't they? Before the dragon arrives.
Oh, he comes along, doesn't he? And he gets them out of trouble because Will's going to get them all. Will's getting a bit stabby, isn't he?
Yeah,
he
because like
fighty.
They've increased the taxes or something.
Yeah, Friar Tuck comes across and goes, the money that you were going to give to Will, I'll have that. Thank you very much. Come on, lads, away and have some mead.
Yeah, let's go to this pub that's fucking dead round the corner. Where he explains that they've nicked a dowry chest and Marion. And so when they were out in the forest, the chest they got was the dowry for Marion, I think.
Yes.
And Robin's like, Marion who? Because he's completely forgotten his whole life, even like, before the traumatic bit.
Maybe the portal is like the boo thing from Men in Black.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Wiped his memory. Why not? Lily walks off pissed because he's not remembered, and then he's like, "Ooh, could she be? It sounds like Marion. Could be her. She's angry. She also doesn't want to marry Leopold. Don't see how that's relevant. And he doesn't want to say why he left in the first place, which is a good let me explain moment, I thought.
Yeah. There's in the background of every scene, it was about here I noticed, there's always chatter that sounds like that Fast Show working class sketch. Hello,
Yeah.
love. All right, darling. I said, I'm not eating that. Let's just go daddy sauce on it. Come on, you spoon. There's loads of that in the back of every scene. Isn't it good? Haven't you missed talking about things that are much better than the film that we're talking about, boys?
I didn't mind this. I just didn't understand what it was about. I just enjoyed the
much
shapes
dialogue.
and colours moving.
It's like a child on his back.
Or a cockatiel with a mirror. Yeah.
He wakes up the next day in a position we've all been in, on the pub floor, having ripped open his shirt. He goes outside to make candle stew, because that's what's in the cauldron now.
He went hard on Total Eclipse of the Heart when he was doing karaoke.
Yeah. Tuck also comes out and he says Nottingham needs hope, so that's not going to change anytime soon. Marion at that moment emerges to essentially like wash her neck.
Suggestively washing her neck, and she's also wearing jeans. I noticed this.
Yeah,
they're like,
leggings.
Could you undo your shirt a little bit? A couple of buttons, and she's like, "Fucking no, just the neck." That's all.
From here on in,
check the nape.
Scenes where she's a bit chesty. Pardon the expression. They obviously must cut the shirt at some point, and she's like, "All right, boys, here I am."
It's
unnecessary.
It is unnecessary because
well, Tuck's like, "You're in there, son." I'm like, "You're a man of God."
Tuck was luck, innit?
Man of. Jeez.
At that moment, dragon attack. Nottingham town centre devastated. Again,
it's a
not
city,
gonna
Alan,
change.
£7 worth of damage.
Oh, very good. £1 million worth of improvements. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, there we go. That's all the jokes we know. Goodbye.
Will, for some reason, blames Robin, I guess.
You always bringing dragons here.
You and your dragons.
This is just like at Easter and Papa's funeral.
The dragon makes a tactical mistake and lands where they could all have at it.
Also, the only dragon that doesn't do anything, like doesn't breathe fire or ice or like.
Well, John goes up to it and boots him into some tomatoes. That was good.
It's a scratchy boy. I'll give it that.
It is a scratchy boy and a bitey boy, but it
flames, is it?
No, it doesn't do no dragon shit. It's essentially just like
it's basically a wyvern. It's basically a wyvern.
Yeah. No, because wyverns have got poison. Anyway, I'm not getting into D&D bollocks. This isn't the time and place for that. But it lands. Robin and his 3 arrows that he's brought with him, because he hits him with 3 arrows, then he goes, "Oh fuck, I'm out of arrows." Carry more arrows, Robin. Wasn't expecting such a rush.
Tuck gets eviscerated.
Tuck is fucked.
Everyone, they form the traditional circle of kicking around the dragon, and they're all having a wallop at it. Right, so Marion's hitting it with a stick, John's hitting it with a flail that he's got from somewhere. He's just John of many weapons at this point. I think even that little Gareth kid's having a poke at it.
Has he not got at some point a sling?
Oh yeah, he bops it at really close range as well. Everyone has a turn at it.
It gets shoved down a well at one point,
and then doesn't
work as it can fly out.
Marion appears and hoofs it into this thing. Robin sets fire to some arrows, which I thought, why? It's not explosive. I don't know.
But that's another bit that's robbed from Prince of Thieves, the fire. And I'm not saying there wasn't such a thing as incendiary arrows before that, but it's specifically the look of the shot. Yeah. Except, as you say, you shoot it from the hip. It's not six-shooter.
The arrow drops. Also, there's very little historical evidence that fire arrows were used, because as soon as you launch it, it'll go out. Because, obviously. That would have been so great if there was a knockoff Bryan Adams at the end of this.
Ryan Adams.
Look into my orbs.
And Portal.
It
writes itself.
This is that's what I'm doing. They push it into this.
Sorry, go on.
They push it into this well. And then they go, phew, that was close. And then it just goes out this and fucks off. And I was like, well, okay.
What did you expect? Yeah. So they take Tuck to a church where he's like, "Oh, my viscera." He's lost a lot of blood, but ironically, bloodletting him didn't work. So he feverishly says to Marion that they need to go beyond Sherwood Forest. To see the keeper of the trees.
Why?
Robin's like, "Is he gone?" And it's like, "He's fucking dead, Rob." He's got
no, but I would have gone in and go, "Sorry, Tuck, why are we going beyond Sherwood Forest?" Why? Sorry, are we doing that? Oh, he's dead. I'm not doing that. It's like, that's what I'd do. What? He's not told us why we need to go there. Balls to it. I'm not going.
Yeah, how does he know about it anyway?
It's in the forest. Apparently, it's only a square mile by a square mile. He knows every leaf like the back of his hand. He's had
It is
sex with all
now.
the
It's not very
trees,
big
that's
now,
why.
I'll tell
There's
you.
like the central forest, but there's like my parents go walking around it all the time. There's like a massive forest beyond all of that.
Have they fallen into any
that-
portals? Or did
No,
Robin
there's like an
manage to shut them all?
MOD. There's like an MOD
There is
clearing area where
a
there's
big
no
MOD
trees at all.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Is that
weird,
where that
bit.
UFO landed?
It's where that dragon mutated from.
Ah, right, I
That's
see.
On the subject of Nottingham, when I was a kid, there was a chip van used to come around on a Thursday night called the Jolly Friar.
Nice.
Which is he's
Nice.
not so jolly, is he? But
He's dead. They bury him as well outside of this church, and then they go, I don't know, should we go and advance the plot of this film by fucking about in a portal for 30 minutes?
Well, it doesn't even have his first name on it. I mean, it's like you can't just put Tuck, can you? But Damon Tuck or something. Like
someone else is
nobody
going to
knows
come
his
along
first
and go, I think if I think at this point as well, as the country was mostly like agricultural, surnames weren't a thing.
no.
It was only when industrialization happened
I
that
don't
people
think Tuck
became.
was like a name though, isn't it? It's not a name like Will Scarlett as a name, but Tuck.
Oh, it's called Friar John Tuck. John Tucker must die.
FJT.
Yeah. Pope JT.
They move on. They move
Well,
on.
hang on,
as
'cause
we,
they don't
as
even-
we should. As we should.
They don't
Um,
even dig him a pit though. It's just a mound of earth. They've
It
just-
is,
fuck him.
and we do, and later on we do the same.
Yeah.
But they, as they're journeying, I think they must have run out of the horses that they could get, because one of these horses is a Shire horse,
Yeah.
which
that's
are
a
not
lady.
known for going into battle
No, it's a lady
as much as they're
horse.
known for pulling beer
Dray
drains in the
wagons,
1800s. Yeah.
Also, all the way through this, little John is like, I'm hungry. That's his whole story
That's his
arc,
stick,
is that he's
yeah.
hungry.
Except when he goes, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have eaten that, you lazy bastard."
The
I
dragon
didn't understand
returns.
that.
Yeah.
The dragon returns with the sheriff's men, and by some feat of like combined arms now with the sheriff's men and a sky cover and everything, they chase the gang into the forest, so they have to go for this portal now.
Yeah.
Robin's like, "Wait here, feeble woman," and then forcibly kisses her. So we're not out of the sexual assault series of films that we've fallen into at this point.
I think she's into it, and she goes, "Go away with the goblin child and hide
Oh,
under
get-
that
get
tarp.
off. Yeah, hide under
This is
something.
men's work, and you are a weak, chesty lady."
In this forest, by the way, in this wood or wherever they are, matte painting artists were being kept in work in 2009 thanks to this scene, because boy, they are literally stood next to wet painted.
Oh, I
Tarps.
liked this. This was
Oh,
again
it looks
like
like shit.
it looks like shit, but also yeah. And they're like, "Oh, here it is, the big blue sphincter of dark forest."
But the sheriff's following them, and he's like, "Hang on. If I was Robin, I would have sent Marion and the
Goblin
soundless one, the mute child. I would have just like shoved them under some leaves or something. So let's go and look for them and not worry too much about the portal." Which turns out to be a pretty baller move, really, because that's exactly what he's done.
Eh,
Anyway, they've
if
gone
only
through
he'd
into-
used this walking around in the forest thing in real life, he might still be with us.
They've entered the dark woods.
Right, I didn't understand this. Oh, what the fuck is the dark woods? Is it where Strongbow dark fruits come from? Because that's literally the only thing I could think of.
I just
Is it
assumed
like
it
the-
was night.
Is it like the
personally.
upside down?
Yeah, so I think this is really like taxing knowledge that I didn't think I had. But I know there's like a series of Welsh poems or something where there's like the dream world, and the dream world is where you'd find a dog, but the dog is orange and can talk, sort of thing. And I think it's sort of similar to
Like
that.
Insanity chili, right?
Yeah.
All right,
So
I
I
just
think
didn't
it's sort-
understand.
I
like,
think it's
I was
supposed
like,
to be
is
similar
the
to that.
dark forest a thing that I was just not aware of? And it
I
turns
think
out,
it's
no,
really
it's
it's
just,
a regular forest where they've turned the contrast down, isn't they? So
it's
yeah.
just a forest where they filmed at night.
Yeah.
And Commander Zavala from Destiny is there as well. Yes. Yeah, 'cause they
Will
fuck about in
Scarlett's-
this forest for ages.
Too long, really. Bats can be dissipated using a bat bugle, is what I've
Right.
written.
This shows how stupid this is as well, right? Robin's trying to shoot one bat at a time in a swarm of fucking bats. He's only got 3 arrows. That's 3 bats at most. You take 2 if you get lucky and hit 2 of them, isn't it? Right. Like, but he does this. He's doing all this stuff. Like, he's a fucking Marx. And I'm like, idiot. But apparently, yeah, you can just parp the horn of parping and the bats will dissipate. And I'm like,
What
I'm going to
harm
try
are they
that
gonna
next
do
time I go to
anyway?
the zoo and get kicked out.
It's flappy assholes, aren't they? They're not going to do anything.
They're not flappy assholes. That's my jazz name.
Maybe in the dark woods they're more threatening than that, but they're not going to do anything, are they? They're just sort of sonar wizards and flap around a bit. Meanwhile, Marion and Gareth find Alina nude also in the forest and try to clothe her.
Well, I think Marion does. I think this is where we see him going, licking his lips at her, yeah. Oh, and then they come across
Can
this
we
camp.
isolate that sound effect you did?
We come across this camp of the poor people where Ditchwater Sal from Stardust has appeared as well. All right, dear, do you want some candle soup?
She sounds like James Doohan from Star Trek. Sounds like Scotty. It's really bad.
And she's like, "Oh, you're thin. Eat all this soup, and you can be big fat." And I was like, "What's happening here?" I didn't understand what this was supposed to prove. Because no, we haven't have that bit yet where the chest has been opened yet, have we?
No, that's coming up.
No.
That's coming up.
So,
but at this point, Marion and the dragon lady sit down and have a chat. And Marion says something like, "It's very different out here in the forest as to what it is in Nottingham." I was like, "Yeah, because you're filming it 3,000 miles away from Nottingham."
I mean, that's called acting.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
She says that she's not like my people. And then Marion toasts to being a woman in a world of boys.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion here. Like, because she looks at because Marion says a couple of things. She says, "Yeah, we're so alike, you and me." So, are we? Are we alike? As if to say, "Oh, fucking hell, you're a crazy dragon lady as well."
Sweet.
But no, she's
That was
just
the
a
only one.
lady.
Yeah, a real lady, a woman. We do get actual sort of cinematography kind of cuts between the two stories at this point, which is quite good, I will say. Robin runs off and leaves the other two to get attacked by wolves. I don't know how that happens. He just, fuck it, I'm had enough, I'm going. See you, John. All right,
that's
bye, Robin.
He's seen what can only describe as a hedge vagina, and he plunges straight through that.
Hedge vagina.
So he's gone off to meet the keeper of the forest,
Commander Zavala.
And meanwhile, the sheriff's men find the camp that Marion's at.
Three guys in hoods just stood around him as well.
It's because they heard the woodwind music and the smell of the hot stew. So,
no!
So they get butchered. Marion and are the only ones left alive, I think. Gavin's about somewhere.
Yeah, he gets tied up because he loves
I
it.
bet he does, yeah. Dirty bastard. And meanwhile, Robin finds the Temple of Elders near a Stonehenge thing.
With some
that's where
blue light in the middle.
I didn't understand all of that as well. That's another thing that
it's related to the portal, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
we've only got one light in effect. We're not paying for 2 packs of special effects.
Little John and Will are fighting off this pack of wolves that see everything in sepia.
But yeah, like Commander Zavala, he's like, "Look, your friends are fighting wolves," and he goes, "I'll go and help them." He's like, "They're fucked." It's like, all right, well, I won't even bother then, shall I?
I'm glad you realised they were wolves because I thought they were the jackals from The Lion King.
They were kind of shonky looking, half wolf, half jackal, half undead sort of thing.
Chupacabras, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's just the Chupacabra sprite from that film has just been imported into this.
Possibly, yes.
Luckily, there's the axe of explosion that's deployed on them.
Well, Will Scarlet uses the knife of explosion first, and then we get the battle axe of explosion, and then the double explosion. It was
a good enchantment, that one, wasn't it? Just put it off.
A +3 to exploding wolves. Yeah, and then if I was Robin, I'd have gone, "You don't know shit, Commander Zavala."
Yeah, he's like, "Well, sweet, you lads are sound then. Don't worry about Alina. She's a prick."
Here's her entire life story. She was once like us, but many moons back. Let me touch this blue flame for no reason and do this David Bowie swirly stuff from Labyrinth.
And then she went in, and then she went. She went through the portal, and it turned into a dragon because it's a dragon portal.
No, her mum. Right, her mum was once one of the Sylvans.
Sylvanian families.
Sylvans are wood sprites, I think, in Greek mythology, I think. But her mum was like, "This is bollocks. All we do is sit around looking at this flame. I'm going off to explore." She went through the blue portal and came back like a week later knocked up. So she had fun while she was through there. Then gave birth to Alina. They were like, "Oh, eat this plot device fruit because it'll help." But what it does is take away your immortality, and then they murdered her.
Right.
But they hated Alina because she was a half-breed. And so she went through the portal, turned into a dragon. Commander Zavala saw it, and he was like, fuck it, that's me done.
I tell you what, the Dark Woods is fucking dark, isn't it? In there,
Isn't it just
full
this
of
massive
racism and hatred.
fuck off raspberry is the only thing that can fix the dragon, lassie.
It's made of wind chimes.
To be honest, it looks like it's made out of hemorrhoids. To be honest,
So they go, for some reason we must go and get this fruit.
Yeah.
To give it to a leader, to kill her as a dragon, or to make her better, or
make her better, then kill her. Yeah.
Because I think while Marion and Alina are talking, she says that.
By the way, I'm a dragon.
She says, by the way, I'm a dragon. Also, sorry about that. But also, my bad. Also, Malcolm the sheriff cut out my heart and won't tell me where it is, so I can't die.
I figured it was cut out my heart so that I can die, and I need my heart back to make sure that I am immortal, but maybe not. But what I did know was that Marion's, as soon as she says I'm a dragon, Marion's like the fucking dragon that murdered the men. She's like, no, you didn't see the bit where they're piercing the film to make sure he didn't explode in the microwave. You didn't see that bit. That's the bit that happened. Yes, I did kill one man, but it wasn't that specific man that you're upset about being killed. Yeah. It was just fodder.
I did kill Friar Tuck.
Yeah,
but to be fair, he was a priest, so I probably did Gavin a favour.
I might do audio assistance. That's a good idea. No one listens to my podcast, so I might as well do something else.
It's called Desmoria. Desmoria, this plant thing that they.
That's the barbershop in. That's like 3 times in 2 days I've mentioned Desmond.
That's right.
Yeah, and you go,
we all know
it's up the top of this big, massive thing. We can't go and get it, despite the fact we're immortal, so if we fall off, we won't die. But you're mortal, so fuck off, you do it. And I was like, no.
And I think it's meant to look like that bit where they're climbing up the cliff face in The Princess Bride. But it doesn't look like that because you only ever see like that much of the shot with that much of the person in. It looks like Bride, shit.
Or like 300 when Butler's climbing up to speak to the Oracle.
Yeah.
But it just literally looks like they've pushed him into a hole in a quarry.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Another choice bit of dialogue. Where I come from, it is the men, not the trees, that make the laws.
Oh, and I've written pave paradise and put up a parking lot. All right, mate.
It's the Weeping Wall. Will is
not
fine.
The Wailing Wall. Don't get that.
No.
Don't be climbing up that trying to get fruit.
Surely the Wailing Wall, you would climb up that and get brisket. I don't know.
Will manages to make it, having had a little sit halfway.
Right. He goes back. Will Scarlet, you can't come up because you're shit. Come on, John. I'm no wonder Will Scarlet's so angry at him because he just shoots him down. I think he was injured by CGI wolves.
He was. Also doesn't help that he's also Johnny Marr in some sort of in Barnsley's premiere Smith's tribute act.
I told you a friend of mine's in an Oi Smith's tribute act called Morris Oi.
You did not. No, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So him and Robin and John go up the thing, and then John's like, I'm knackered, I'm going to climb down. I was like, if you weren't going to make it, why start?
Yeah.
Robin
Meanwhile,
climbs
the sheriff.
Up.
Go on.
Robin climbs up. Wind chimes happen. He gets a big bag of hemorrhoids for his trouble.
And meanwhile, the sheriff has uncovered the chest containing the necklace. There's a false panel, and it's got a scroll in it. False panel being a bit of a brave move in a chest that's about a foot wide. It's obviously not. Where else are you going to look? Bring the Lady Marion to me at once, because I want to do a sex on her.
I needed to ask about that because I wasn't sure.
It gets a little bit.
I wasn't sure what happened
at this point.
The line is, well, if it isn't the runaway bride. Better film, arguably.
Yeah. The most heroic man she's ever known, she says about Robin. She's fallen for him after that smack on the face earlier. The sheriff says that the chest contains an order of assassination, which makes Prince John a traitor and England a sausage-eating vassal of Austria.
Yeah, but then Marion goes, but then we'd be a vassal state of Austria. And I was like, are we playing Risk? What has happened here? Why has it got all political intrigue? I want arrows and kissing and swinging through windows on a chandelier and stuff like that. I don't want political intrigue in WoW.
This is the bit where I've really written about the dialogue, because who could care enough to listen about any of this? Because I didn't. I just I switched off.
You're not
completely.
supposed to. The point is that the scroll is the gubbins and it's the major plot. That's it. Yeah.
And I thought this. He says, I don't want this falling in the wrong hands. And I was like, what is it? Like a dick pic scroll or something?
I thought it was going to be like Robin Hood was the true heir to the throne, or it was something worthwhile. He's like, I can't have this falling in the wrong hands. I'll tuck it loosely into my belt. Mm-hmm. And then she goes, give us a snog, big fella. And
she
goes,
says that he could take on Prince John alone and then win it all somehow. Yeah, nobody can fucking read in 1174.
No.
I assume Sans was in this for unpaid tax debts or something, which is exactly why he faked his death. He now runs a bar and grill under the name of Jackie Daytona.
It's Jackie. It's him and what's he called? Michael Flatley. Oh, I need to tell you. I need to tell you afterwards. There is a Riverdance, the animated film that came out in 2021, I think, or 22. What? I watched 5 minutes of it and had to go and have a bath because it was awful.
Is even his animated version still got a hat on at all times?
It's not him. It's like two kids that fall into Riverdance land and have to fight some sheep. I don't know what the fuck was going on.
And the hemorrhoid berries.
They were little round sheep. It's really it's like the Reef level of shitty animation. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Back to the film. She goes, give us a kiss then, big fella. And he comes in and licks her face or something gross.
He caresses her neck as well. Always with
a nape. Yeah. And then she goes, haha, I've stolen this incredibly useful plot device from your secret hiding place in your belt. Let us go or I'll set fire to it. And he goes, I don't give a shit, set fire to it. And she goes, okay. And I was like, well, what was this scene all for then?
And then he must belt her or something because they're screaming while the camera
knocks her to the ground.
Which is genuinely a bit creepy.
He knocks her to the ground, and then the 4 big extras they've hired from a local wrestling academy appear. And he goes, the maid Marion no more or something. I'm like, does he do a sex on her? Because that's gross. She's not been maid Marion anymore. She'd just be Marion, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Moving on. 3 men looking for a plant. Hey.
They've got the plant.
Back to our level.
They're back. They got is it as Robin comes through the portal, they just nick him straight away?
Yeah, they throw him in chains, put him in the dungeons.
Brig. Yeah. Well, I don't fucking know. All that happens is he goes, we're gonna hang them all, and then I'll kill Leprosy John.
Yeah, I'll kill him just like I killed Robert's dad that time. And then Robin's like, so it was you, sort of thing. It's like,
I mean, you saw it, Robert. You were there. You literally saw him stab him in the head. Like he was putting cheese and pineapple on a fucking on a cocktail stick.
So I don't think John and Will have been captured, though. They're just sort of lingering anxiously.
I figured that something had happened to them, but you
just
obviously
peeking
just don't
around
see
the side of the portal.
Yeah, and then later on, they turn up like, hello.
Alina turns into a dragon and flies away, and the sheriff says that Robin's going to be hanged tomorrow with Marion.
He's hung every day.
So then we get the jail scene.
Oh, the dragon flies off, and he goes, yeah, we don't need to worry about that anymore. That won't come back and haunt us at any point.
Yeah.
It's all right because it's immortal.
The jail scene, which is also, if you look closely, the throne room. Just filmed from a slightly different angle.
There
are 3 jail cells in this castle, and they're all within hand distance of each other.
So they're mooning about. Marion says that she doesn't want to marry Leopold. She's not even met the dude. And also,
he's called Leopold. He's going to have fancy trousers. It's going to be like Paul Rubens in that episode of is it 30 Rock, where he's like the Prince of Liechtenstein and he's got a little arm and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I need to go back to 30 Rock. Or is it Kimmy Schmidt? Or is it?
It's Kimmy Schmidt. It's Kimmy Schmidt. Yeah. But yes. Anyway, it's Paul Rube. Anyway, yeah, he could be like that. He's Hungarian Austrian royal family. He's probably more inbred than Warburtons. It's not great. I started that and didn't know where I was going with it, to be honest.
Sheriff gets his men to hang a scarecrow, I think, for practice.
I mean, I like the fact that the hangman's practicing. It's like 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's like that's not how they hung people. Like you could just yeet a guy off a ledge, but he would swing back and then have a ledge to put his feet on. So whatever.
He has a bit of banter as well with Prince John, saying that the people will see a rise of a new king, and they're both like, "Oh, it's going to be me." So Robin sneaks his bows off a sleeping guard somehow.
Right.
The plan is to shoot the keys to himself? Question
Gareth.
mark.
While they're bitching about King Leopold and how like you shouldn't get married and all this stuff, Gareth whittles a bow and an arrow and a bowstring.
Really?
Out of some wood that's in the he's literally whittling away at this thing while they're talking, and I'm like,
that's why he won the award.
Best whittler, best silent whittling, which I
silent
think is
whittlers.
CV. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay, now. That's what happened. And then he hands it through, and then like he goes, "I'm going to shoot an arrow at the keys." And Marion goes, "But how are you going to get them back?" And he goes, "Don't worry about it."
It's arrows.
And then I missed
it's
how
my
he did
thing.
it because I was like, "What?"
So he needs to roll advantage for this shot, I think. And he shoots the table, and she's like, "Oh, you stupid bastard! You shot the table." He's like, and then he starts pulling it, and that's not how like physics works.
No,
and it's unbearable, and it's subpar video game shit, and I hated it.
Also, why are guards in prisons always sleepy?
Yeah,
right? I know
it's dark, I guess.
Yeah, but like, it's always.
Coffee wasn't invented yet.
I'm just going to hang the keys somewhere where it can be like lifted off as well. I'll just put it
leave
straight
them on the table.
Never in my pocket or anything like that. Yeah,
or on a big nail, or in a safe, in a little tabernacle. Yeah, yeah. And so they managed to get the keys and escape, and they think they duffed the guard up. I kind of switched off at this point because I was like, "This is stupid."
I think Little John will break in and liberate them as they're. I think they trap the guards in the prison, and it's it's a nice thing. Guards are now locked up. How ironic is that? He's blind after a lifetime of being able to see. And then they go out to the execution yard. Robin talks about the parchment, and Marion says she burned it. So, the sheriff surrounds them and says that they've not really run much further than the execution square where they were going to get executed. So this is a delight.
Save just having to go down and get you, if anything.
Yeah. So there's another fight. There's some rope tomfoolery. Anyone want to take us through?
No.
I didn't get it. All I've got is the when he eventually gets up the fortunately placed climbing wall.
Yeah.
It was like a PGL, weren't it? That,
yeah.
The sheriff is now dual wielding, which I quite like.
Oh yeah, now have you ever seen anyone fight with a long sword in one hand and a dagger in the other? Like that surely does. How nimble is he?
Well, you would normally use the dagger in your offhand as a parrying weapon, but he holds it like he's going to stab him.
Yeah, he does.
He's holding it like Tommy Lee Jones in Under Siege.
He stabs him in the lungs, which was probably fatal. But
I thought he'd stabbed him in just that little fleshy bit of between the below the shoulder. Yeah,
it's all about the
nape. Nape and hood.
Again,
he says
it's
any
a very
last words?
low energy sword fight as well, though. All the fighting in this is not like. I'm not saying it needs to be like, Lord of the Rings, but it's literally clang, clang. Oh, I've been stabbed.
Yeah.
Any last words? I've been robbed. Because of your name.
Yeah. Any last words? 'Tis merely a flesh wound. And he continues.
I'll kill you like I killed your dad, which is like the last line of every.
Well, you're going to poke me in the head as well. I'd like
he doesn't
try
do that.
because I'm going to put a hat on.
Oh no, I've only got that peaked cap. Dragon at this point reappears and starts heaving people about. There's a sword fight where everyone very carefully hits each other's blades. And a man whips a dragon.
Yeah, I like that guy. Johnny Whips.
Mr. Whippy.
3 orange whips.
Whip that dragon.
Yeah. That's what
Tame the dragon.
He has a great death, though, doesn't he?
He has the best death.
That was the one bit I went, ooh.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, were you, lads?
Yeah. She flies up into the sky.
One bit of blood they could have for that.
Flies up into the sky, changes size so that she's quite big now, and then rips him in half. And I was like, that was good. Probably from another film.
Yeah.
And then she lands, and then she has this back and forth with Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get it because he's like, you can't kill me because I won't tell you where your heart is. And she's like, oh, no. And then I was like, what was the fruit for then?
Where is the heart? Like, I thought the point about this is that at least they find where the heart is. We don't. So you could have buried that anywhere.
It's wherever I lay my
Still
hat.
out there.
Yeah,
I thought that was going to be like a major plot point. Like, you know,
No.
when they have the secret panel and that's where the scroll is, I thought the heart was going to be in there.
or like in his cod piece or somewhere. I don't know, like just somewhere. But he goes, no, I'm not going to tell you. And then he pulls out the same sword that had the blood on it and
Right.
stabs her. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, something about the blood from the beginning, but it's only because you mentioned that at the beginning of the recording I realised. Because I've written here, is she dead now because she doesn't have a heart? Is she the opposite of the Tin Man? I don't know. I don't know.
It's the opposite of a Tin Man, a weird dragon.
Well, she doesn't have a heart, does she? Unless she
right
dies.
in if you
Yeah.
know.
Yes, that's just envelope too. Who gives a fucking fuck?
If you're from Dictionary Corner, if you're Susie Dent, and but right, so what was the heart about? What was the fruit about? Because literally, he had that sword that could have killed her from the start.
Yeah.
So,
And it didn't kill her at the start because he stabs her with it. So, yeah.
like,
Anyway.
40 minutes of this film are unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Robin rips the dagger out of himself and stabs the sheriff, and he falls in a shot that has, in other films we've covered, genuinely caused death.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that chapter. Prince John summons Robin and says that Marion doesn't need to be married to Leopold anymore because of plot reasons.
Fuck the Hungarians.
They go off arm in arm to another small burial mound.
Oodle-lolly, oodle-lolly, golly, what a day.
And in this little church is the little blind mice, the little church mice.
Oh,
Oh,
that
don't
always
worry
makes me
about
sad,
it,
that.
dear. We'll find enough money for next month. Oh,
Oh, that little sad owl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin
Sexy
says that he
fox.
wants to rebuild. Marion and Robin kiss in front of a baying crowd of thieves and mercenaries in the
Yeah,
graveyard.
and two rotting corpses, an inch in the
I-
dirt.
Got a few questions here. One of them isn't related to she is free now. Of what life? But the other
curse.
is he says, well, when my brother Richard returns is the line he says. I rewound it.
Yeah.
When my brother Richard returns, or when your brother Richard returns, what
Yeah.
then? Is King Richard Robin's brother? And is Robin the prince?
Oh.
Like what? It must be a typo or a fucking something because none of that fits in with anything to do with the story or any Robin Hood.
That's wrinkled my brain. Yeah,
So can he marry her because he's a prince?
But I thought
Or
she was
something?
related to to King Richard because I'm sure her dad said that earlier.
That makes it all the better because they're always marrying one another, aren't they? They're always marrying their own families, aren't they? The royals.
Yeah, no wonder that kid's tongue fell out.
No wonder her name's Marion. It's so weak. It's such a weak.
Yeah, they do it. Oh, but also they go, we'll build our home in Sherwood Forest.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
where's this? Did you? Was this a pickup shot? This
We zoom out, and there is no forest. There's
No,
there's
like little house on the
there's
fucking
some-
prairie.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's what they need to rebuild the forest. It's gone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, makes sense.
Get down the garden centre then, Robin, innit? And that's it.
Mercifully.
Thank God.
No Clannad. Robin,
Yeah.
the hooded man. Yeah, rubbish. And also now I've just realised, well, that like a good 60% of this film is unnecessary fetch quests.
Yeah.
Like,
But I
Radioactive
think a
fruit.
good 60% of Robin Hood's life was unnecessary. Prove
Yeah.
me wrong, listeners. Prove me
well,
wrong.
also, by that token, right, Robin Hood stole money to give to the poor people who then got taxed more, which Robin then had to steal to give back to him. So he's keeping people in a job, I guess.
Is Robin the DWP? Have I missed something? I am now seeing things like A Beautiful Mind. That's going on here.
I think Robin Hood is a human scratch card.
All right. Oh, very good. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
I just thought, like, because there's a massive spider coming down my wall.
Is Maid Marion how much a pack of tabs are down the shop now?
And John Little is that Chinese lad with all the hooky DVDs in a hold all.
I would like a modern day Robin Hood. I think actually I saw something recently that was like Rocket Robin Hood or something.
Oh, was that not the one with all the modern music in it and Taron Egerton? Was it not that?
I didn't
There's
watch
a Taron
it.
Egerton
I just
Robin
heard
Hood.
about it, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, there's
What?
a
And he's
Taron
got
Egerton
rockets for
Robin Hood.
leg.
Yeah,
Sweet. Right,
And,
well,
yeah.
when it's Robin Hood season again, we'll take that out.
and Gavin's got laser for a tongue. Yeah,
And Little John's got Jeremy Irons' robotic penis.
Jamie Foxx,
Charles
Little John.
Dance.
Who would have thought?
Charles Dance, damn it! I knew it
Tim
was a
Minchin
posh.
as Friar Tuck. What's going on?
hey,
This sounds terrible.
2018's Robin Hood.
Wait, is
There
this
you
the Guy Ritchie one?
No, well, is it Guy Ritchie? Oh, that would explain everything. That would explain
Because there was the
everything.
thingy one, wasn't there? With fighting round the world.
Yeah, that's.
And then there was
bad.
another one a couple of years after. I think that was the Guy Ritchie one, was. I don't know.
Screenplay
Anyway.
by Ben Chandler. Ben Chandler.
That means his ancestors used to make candles, James.
Directed by Otto Bathurst. He was one
of those simps off Twitch that buys ladies' bathwater.
either baths first, bath fast. Joke for no one. Anyway.
It's fine, don't worry about it. This has got way ahead of it. Your scores, James.
I'm gonna give it one silver nape. I think.
Okay. fair enough.
One tin Malcolm for me. I hated this. I hated this. This is up there, just slightly below on the table of worst things we've watched. Lady Circus.
Really?
Oh.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's
but no,
that
because
bad.
it was unnecessary dialogue with nothing happening.
Now
At least
I
Lady
realise-
Circus kept my attention.
It didn't make
For
me
the wrong
feel
reasons.
complicit in anything. So on
Yeah,
that
it
basis,
feel
no,
like
it-
a
no, but it
snuff
made-
film.
It made it made me feel like I shouldn't be watching it.
Now I realise that a lot of the film is unnecessary, and this could be, 15 minutes. You could put this on when the thingy goes, instead of putting a Tom and Jerry cartoon on.
Where
So
the thingy goes.
yeah,
I know
you know
exactly
what I
what you mean when
Yeah.
the signal drops. Yeah.
There's some piano music. So it's going to get 3 bronze fucking hemorrhoid fruits.
Oh, nice.
yeah. So that was Robin Hood Beyond Sherwood Forest, 2009. Robin Hood contra El Dragón in Spanish.
I mean, that gives it all away, doesn't it? Robin Hood
Robin
and
Hood
the Dragon. is
And
that
the
what that
Dragon.
is?
Contra.
Contra. What?
So the Iranian
Robin-
Contras are involved.
What?
Yes! Yes, it's a better film!
Is that another
I am-
subplot that I've missed out on somewhere along the line?
Was the baldy bloke the head of the... Was the baldy bloke the Ayatollah?
Robin Hood Il
Oliver
Secreto,
North as Guy of Gisborne.
Il Secreto de la Foreste de Sherwood. Or, and I like this one best, the French one, Robin de Bois et the Creature de Sherwood.
Robin the Boy and the Sherwood Creature. He's Robin
But
Hood,
they
but
all
he raps.
mention the creature except our version.
It is on the poster.
No,
Well,
it
but
isn't.
it's
That's
not.
a very different dragon on that
I
poster.
thought, like Beyond
That's
Sherwood
one of the
Forest.
dragons from Reign of Fire, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Because it's breathing fucking fire for one thing.
Beyond Sherwood Forest kind of promises quite a lot. Like they're getting out of Sherwood, they're going to the big city.
Yeah.
Um,
They're going to
You
open
know
a
what's
bakery.
beyond? You know what's beyond Sherwood Forest? That library with the bloke with all the cats in, and the robot box.
Oh,
within the
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
beyond
yeah.
Sherwood Forest. Oh no, that's beyond Logan's Run.
That's
Okay.
outside
right,
of
yeah.
Logan's
I
Run.
was a bit
Yeah.
lost there. 2009.
Service station beyond Sherwood Forest, probably, isn't it?
There is a Sherwood Forest service station.
Lovely. You can get as many bats as you can fire an arrow through.
Not.
2009, the year that we had Avatar as the big spender
It's
there.
a, it's a great film.
No, it's
Is
an
it?
expensive film.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot of
happily
fun.
sit in front of that and watch it for about
I watched
3
it in
hours.
IMAX in 3D and I was like,
Yeah,
then
so
I
was
just went,
Yeah.
but then I just went, it's just Ferngully.
Yeah,
I mean it is. Yeah. Okay.
it's,
And the second
plot
one,
is nothing
it's just
special.
the first one, but water.
Yeah, but you got to watch it in 3D at the cinema, didn't you?
I know, but like 50% of that was just them twatting about in the water.
I
I
don't
don't
see what the
know.
problem
Yes.
is.
But do that next.
I was sad
Harry
when they killed
Potter.
those big whale things and milked all the juice out of their brain. That was
Oh yeah, Wayne Braille juice.
yeah. Wayne
Harry-
Braille juice.
He was in this, wasn't he?
He's the little kid.
Yeah, he drinks the Braille juice and then he can make Braille with his tongue stump.
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Still pumping those out. And
Yeah.
Didn't get a budget for this because it was straight to TV sci-fi, as you might have guessed. It was directed by Peter DeLuise, from whom we arrived at this one.
Is that how we got here?
Yeah, I remember
right,
now.
Okay.
This man is responsible
For a lot.
Robin Hood, played by Robin Dunn, fresh from sci-fi series Sanctuary, where he plays a sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
He would later go on to star in innumerable Hallmark TV series and films, including the Aurora Teagarden TV mysteries. Yeah,
I think he's also one called The Magic Christmas Cake.
Oh, the only one I've written down is his latest film, Making Sense of Love, about incense.
Yes!
Get out! This isn't as bad as the candle one.
Or the bath bombs one, or
The bath
the
bombs
chocolates one, or any of the fucking niche cupcake things. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they sit there in the meetings going, what fucking shops haven't we done? I don't know, pornography? I don't know. What? It's a sex shop. I'll have 5 quid with them.
The throbbing hearts of love. So he's the only person, by the way, who's bothered to do an interview about this. Everyone else is like too up themselves. But no, not Robin Dunn. He said, I'm ashamed. He said, I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I did the typical actor thing. When asked if I knew any archery, and I was like, oh yeah, I could totally do that, no problem. Then cut to the first day on set. I'm standing there, 75 crew members just standing around watching me trying to fire a bow and arrow. The producers are looking at me, and I can tell they're thinking, we've hired this guy to play Robin Hood, and he cannot fire a bow and arrow. What have we done? Then, to make it even more difficult, the next day I had to fire not only 1, but 3 in quick succession. And then in the next scene, if that wasn't hard enough, they lit them on fire. It was crazy, but thankfully, I managed to get it quickly enough. I probably should have shown up a little bit more at the training, but I did manage to get it and managed not to put anyone's eye out or shoot anyone accidentally. And there we go. Even he would be the first to admit.
I mean, as long as he admits that his technique is poor.
Yeah.
I've got to be clear,
yeah.
James, you've let us down here. I'm just going through Robin Dunn's cinematography for what it is. And he is the star of decent films, but not those films. He's in the follow-ups to said decent films. He's in Cruel Intentions 2.
Oh.
He's in The Skulls 2. And he is in Species 3.
There's a 3rd species.
There is a 4th species.
Fuck you.
I'm sure in the 4th species it's a man. I'm sure of it. I'm sure I remember that.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Sorry, yes.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say I didn't know. Yeah. Also, you don't have to fire 3 of them in quick succession. That's what editing's for.
Well, also, we've hired this guy to play Robin Hood does not mean that he can fire up. His name is Robin, but that does not mean he can do any of the
I think you'll find Robin Williams was a Olympic grade archer. He used to weave his own bowstrings out of his arm hair.
I'm gonna get all right. So Maid Marian, Erica Donuts played her. There is a very important fact about this, and that she is married to another member of the cast. Does anyone want to have a stab at who that was?
Oh, I know that. Yeah, she's married to Robin, isn't she?
No,
is she not? I know because I know they're married. I thought she was married to Robin.
Alina, and it's progressive. Right on.
No, it's worse. She's married to the Keeper of the Forest,
Commander Zavala.
Oh right, wow.
David
Fucking
Palfrey.
hell.
He lived on a Dutch barge while living in London until his appearance in Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, 1987, as, and I looked this up, mass grave soldier. So I think it's an extra part. Not many parts after
This'll get me off the Dutch barge. You wait and see, mother.
I don't know what a Dutch barge is.
It's
The barge
just
but wider.
Yeah, it's
Is
got
it
a
really?
swing Dutch.
I was thinking of a Dutch oven, I think.
That's your problem. You're always thinking about Dutch ovens.
Not many parts after this, but it went on to star as an agent in Bratty Babies, aka Oh Baby, 2001. The story of 2 babies who are able to telepathically communicate and try to marry their parents by the help of mortal combat with the robbers.
What?
Have you
had a stroke?
Bratty Babies starring Jerry Springer. That's got to be a future episode.
Oh no! It's gonna be like Look Who's Talking, but with less.
It's Baby Geniuses, but worse. If it could be imagined such a thing.
Wow.
It's
I mean, add it to
3.7.
the hat.
So I think
Why are they playing Mortal Kombat?
I think he is like an acting coach or something, because Erica Durrance, I read a few interviews with Erica Durrance, and she was like, to prepare me for this part, he was taking me through stuff. She's best known for playing Lois Lane in Smallville. Big bag of facts on IMDb, including she grew up on a turkey farm in a small town called Three Hills, Alberta. Considers her family to be a most important asset. She has 2 kids and divorced, and her phobias are water and birds.
Ducks, you fucking hate them.
Swans.
Gannets, get out of here. But she grew up on a turkey farm.
Well, clearly something traumatic happened, didn't it?
Again,
In the water.
Yeah.
No,
Like me growing up in a circus, yeah.
So they were like, let's put a big bird in it. And she was like, no. So they changed it to a dragon.
It would have been better if it was Big Bird out of Sesame Street. Just fucking up some monks.
Malcolm, Sheriff of Nottingham, obviously Julian Sands, until his untimely death earlier this year.
The sands of time ran out.
James, Prince of Persia sometime. James Fax these days always has to have a really tragic element in it. I don't know why, but he was known for August performances in The Sun Also Rises, The Killing Fields, A Room with a View, and also Murder on the Moon.
Yes.
Carry a harpoon. 1989.
Giant stabs are what you take. Murder on the moon.
After a nuclear war on Earth, the Soviet Union and the US both establish outposts on the moon. When a murder happens on the outpost in 2015, both US and Soviet investigators are forced to work together on the case.
Hey, comrade, excuse me, do not touch my Russian radio in the car. Don't know why he's Dutch.
So that's what he was doing in Happier Times, which I thought was a nice one to end it on.
I say happier. I mean, I'm going to have to find the
Murder on the Moon.
Murder on the Moon sounds fucking amazing, to be honest.
Somebody came up with that title and was fucking pleased with themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Rightly so.
It was probably boop, 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 the Clangers.
Thus, James Fact is gently caressed on the nape.
I've only gone for one review for this because it seemed to be like 10 out of 10s, this is brilliant, or 1 out of 10s, this is terrible. And I kind of believe leaning on the 1 out of 10s. Do Not Waste Your Time by Grassy129. This was one of the worst movies I have ever seen. Must have been the first time roles for the actors, unless they just grabbed people off the street. The whole movie felt fake and very forced due to the poor acting. Dragons aren't real, Grassy. The storyline was definitely usable, albeit a twist of many movies, such as Stargate.
Right.
I mean, there was a big glowing anus, but that's about it, isn't it?
Portal, I guess.
Yeah, the glowing anus, as I referred it to. In French,
Sorry, I thought there was a scene there that I missed.
the sphincter, the glowing. I don't even know if that part of the movie was needed. No, you're right there. It was like 2 short films put together to make a full-length film. No, it was like 19 different scenes that didn't need to be. The CGI was average, and the fight scenes were obviously, very obviously acted and not believable at all. All in all, I would say it was a huge disappointment. Do not waste your time watching this movie. And to be fair...
Sorry, but I'd hope that the fight scenes were acted.
No.
It's a real fight scene.
Julian Sands, they were just, they just kept knocking
Punching
his hat
dragons.
off. Yeah, knocking his hat off, farting in their hand and rubbing it in his face. Stuff like that. He hates that.
Dutch barge.
That's, Commander Zavala was like, I used to live on... Oh, I don't even know what's happening anymore. That's it. There is no more. In conclusion, that was Robin Hood Beyond Sherwood. Your favourite lines from the film?
Is he gone? He's fucking dead, Rob.
Oh, it's a big blue glowing anus.
Where I come from, men make the rules and not the trees.
So it is you.
There's so much of this that was dog shit. Say goodbye, boys and girls.
Bye.
What I Had Heard is a podcast where every Monday morning, starting October 30th, we educate you on subjects we know nothing about. For example, the medieval era, often called the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, began around 476 AD, following a great lust of power throughout Europe by the Roman Emperor. The Middle Ages spanned approximately 1,000 years and ended between 1400 and 1450.
Hey, Jen.
Yes?
What I had heard was in medieval times, micropigs existed. Medieval farm animals were undernourished and so small that a full-grown bull was around the size of a modern calf, and sheep were only a third of the size they are today.
Hey, Lisa.
Yes?
In the Middle Ages, rye, which was used in baking, became tainted with the fungus ergot. This could cause hallucinations, potential for gangrene, and even death. Can you imagine how they felt about that?
Jen, what I also had heard was, in the Dark Ages, animals were criminals. There are records of animals being taken to court for killing people, as well as smaller crimes. Mice were publicly tried for stealing part of the harvest, and a swarm of locusts might be convicted for eating the crops.
As they should be. What I had heard was, prior to 1066, surnames were not used. We would have just had to have called you Lovely Lisa.
If you'd like to know more about what to expect from the show, visit us on our socials. Our TikTok is what.I.had.heard.was. Our Instagram is What I Had Heard. Facebook at What I Had Heard Was. The app formerly known as Twitter, What I Had Heard W1, or visit our website to read my bio as the new co-host of the show. It's wihhw.com. Also, watch our website for the charity of the month.
If you would like to be a guest on the show, check out the homepage on the website and submit your info. Stay tuned for upcoming news.